Welcome back. So I've had people in the comments ask me about how many cards are in a particular section of the set and how I kind of structured the binders. And I know I've kind of flipped through it really quickly saying, okay, here's all the FCA, here's all the surge foils, blah, blah, blah. But I thought it might be kind of cool to see a breakdown of if you want to collect, say, only FCA and you want to add like the, just the strike oppose cards to a binder, like how many cards, how many slots of a 360 card binder is that going to take up? So these binders and most of the Ultra Pro binders are 360 total cards. So I wanted to do a little breakdown of how I structured the binders and how many cards there are in each section. So brace yourself for my very high-tech breakdown. Basically wrote it all out on a sheet of paper. So to start it off, there's 64 FCA cards, non-foil and foil, makes a total of 128. So I've got two Sephiroth binders that are basically the same structure. So there's 64 of non-foil and foil in each. I'm sorry, there's 64 in each. And I mentioned this a couple times in other videos, but the FCA ends on a page where you then have 8 open slots. So I personally just put in a bunch of Japanese foil cards in this one because this is the foil Sephiroth binder. Just to fill the page and just to have, so it wasn't, completely blank. And then if we go into our mainframe, that says mainframe, by the way. I know I have the penmanship of a 5-year-old, so apologies if you can't read it, but I'll go through it. So there's 309 mainframe, non-foil and foil to make a total of 618. And we'll look at those binders in a second. The alt towns is one of the next ones. There's 5 non-foil, 5 foil. So I put those at the end of the borderless cards in this binder. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the borderless FIN, there's a total of 94. So 94 is 188. But that includes the strike oppose cards, which I broke out. And I want to talk about that because one of the questions I've had is like, are you doing this? Are you doing them in order of how they're numbered, right? And I followed the numbering except for the strike oppose cards. So basically for your FCA, it's 1 through 64. That's in order by number. When you get to the strike oppose cards, both foil and surge foil for this particular binder, and in the other binder it's just the non-foil. What I did was I did by game and then by alphabetical order for each character. And I also included the commander cards. So there's 32 SAP cards, strike oppose cards, and there's 8 commander strike oppose cards. Now the other thing that I messed up on the counts for this was for strike oppose, they're the only ones that have surge foils. So there's basically 32 non-foil, 32 foil, and then 32 surge foil for a total of 96. And then same thing for the commander cards. There's 8 non-foil, 8 foil, and 8 surge foil for a total of 24. So the way that I did it was I actually just included the commander cards in with the rest of the strike oppose. So like if you go through here, like there's Tifa from FIN and then Tifa from commander, same thing. Cloud from FIN, Cloud from FIC, and I kind of did that across the board. So that's how that's structured. So that covers our FCA, mainframe, alt towns, the borderless in terms of the strike oppose, and the borderless in terms of the strike oppose for commander. Now for the rest of the borderless set, if we go over here, this is the foil version again. This borderless set goes all the way until the Titan summon, so that ends right here. And that basically accounts for the 61 that I've got listed on the sheet here. And then there's 1, 2, sorry, I got the sheet in the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the other summons that are from FIC. And the reason why I did that is I just liked how we go from, Anima, or actually Leviathan or Prima Garuda. Where does it start? So this is what kind of annoys me with how they structure this. This is all in numbered order for borderless. But Bahamut kicks off the summons, and then Jekt is like, I guess that's like his, maybe he's got it on his back. Yeah, so there's a saga on the back, but it doesn't say summon. But he's kind of in the middle of all the summons. But anyway, so all the summons are together, and then you know, it flows right into the FIC summons. And then I put Ishitola Rule, because both Ishitola Rule, who's number 577, so she's really late in the set, and the Traveling Chocobo foil are both really late numbers that kind of sit on their own. And when you go to the Scryfall site and look at all the borderless, you'll see you'll see her and the Traveling Chocobo just kind of chilling at the end by themselves, like on an island, which just looks weird. So this worked out perfectly where I could put her and then the 5 alt towns and just complete that page. That's why I structured it that way. But basically, the additional 7 sagas that I've got here, I put at the end of the borderless FIN set. So that now covers down to basically here. So getting over to extended FIN, there's 98 cards. So let me close this up and bring this binder in. So this is the non-foil Sephiroth binder. So again, we've got FCA, we've got the strike oppose, we've got our borderless, same structure here, go into the summons, stops at Titan, go into the FIC summons, all the way to Ishitola Rule, our 5 alt lands, and then boom, we're right into, I didn't count these in my counts, so I apologize. These are the secret layers, but, and then our art cards is 53, which we'll talk about in a second, but this binder has all of the extended arts, which there's 98 of. So in this binder, there was basically a bunch of pages left blank, and I just wanted to include something in here. So that's what I did there. But in the other binder, those are still just blank pages, and I'll talk about what we're going to do with that in a second. So now let's talk about Cid, Secret Rendezvous, and art cards I just kind of covered. So in both Sephiroth binders, in this Sephiroth binder, I've got the art cards without the gold stamp. So there's 53 of those, which is kind of easy to know because they're actually numbered on the back of the card. It says like out of 53. And then in the foil binder for Sephiroth, we've got all the gold stamped. And I'm still, I think, 3 cards away. I'm missing Vivi, this one, and I forget what this one is, but I'm missing those 3 cards. Got this one in today, which is pretty exciting. So we're getting closer and closer to getting this totally done. So let's talk Cid and Secret Rendezvous. So these 2 binders are our mainframe binders, and again, they're exactly the same. So if we go to the end, so we got 309 cards of the main set. If you go on Scryfall, it'll say 310. When you go to actually slot it into the binder, it ends at 309. So I think Wastes is the last. Where is it? Yeah, Waste. The numbering on Wastes is 309. So there's additionally 24 tokens. So it went 309 mainframe, 24 tokens, and then we get to my favorite page in the binder, which is the Secret Rendezvous. So you've got basically 4 Secret Rendezvous and 14 Cids, you know, non-foil and foil for a total of 28. So this is awesome. If you want to collect a set of mainframe, I would really suggest, with the other ones you can kind of mix and match and do whatever you want, but this I would really suggest going this route because it fills the binder perfectly and you only have 1 full page exactly that's blank that you could then put whatever you want or just leave it blank. And that's basically 309, 24 tokens, 4 Secret Rendezvous. Now remember, you can only get Tifa in the commander deck. So if you want the foil or the Surge foil version of Tifa, it only comes in the collector's edition commander deck. And if you want the regular version, you have to buy the Cloud standard commander deck. What I did was I actually just traded out another version of Secret Rendezvous into that deck to get this card. Or you can just buy the single. For Cids, there's 14, and he fills out the rest of this. All the different Cids fill out the rest of this perfectly, which is awesome. So I really like this setup for this. The other binders are a little bit more kind of, you know, like the, is this non-foil or foil? This is foil. You know, they're a little weird because in the middle of it, I just threw in the, basically a single page of Secret Layer. Sorry, drawing a blank on what this is called. So, and then there's pages at the end that are still not filled in, which this one there's only 3. So what I'm probably going to do with that, and actually before I talk about that, let me talk about the total. So we just kind of covered Extended Art 98, Cid 14 and 14, Secret Rendezvous 4 and 4, Art Cards 53 and 53. Our total plus tokens basically comes out to 1,202 cards. Now, what I omitted from this was anything from the starter kit, and the thinking here was I didn't want to just buy a deck off the shelf and then just put that into a binder. Like, something about that just felt disingenuous from a collection standpoint. I think it would display just fine and it would look awesome, but it just felt weird where it's just like you're just buying it and then throwing it in a binder. So I have the starter kit. I have both those decks. I have all the Commander decks, both in standard version and collector's edition, but I'm only displaying the ones we talked about, the Sagas borderless and the SAP borderless. The extended foils for FIN, those are omitted because they only come in the bundles and you can only get 2 per bundle, basically. So there's like a little package that has like some lands, and then in the front of those there's 2 foil extended arts for FIN. Extended FIC, both non-foil and foil, is what I may try to squeeze in the non-foil version into the other Sephiroth binder that has some pages left over. And the reason being there is I think I have a lot of those cards because you can actually get both of these in the collector's packs. So I probably have a lot of that stuff. I just need to go through the collection and sort that out. So yeah, so hopefully this was helpful. This is the full breakdown. I apologize that I have the handwriting of a 5-year-old, but yeah, if you have any questions, let me know, and this will hopefully help you break out. If you want to mix and match, kind of a la carte, these different sections of the set. This is how it was broken out. So, thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.